Like magic dust. The scary features of nuclear accidents disappear, so too the questions they raise. These narratives draw you in for the high-tech human drama, while leaving you feeling hopeful about the future, and, most importantly, grateful it didn't happen to you. By focusing on the seconds before the blast, and then on the safely contained radioactive remnants in the sarcophagus, most histories of Chernobyl eclipse the accident itself. Only 54 deaths? Is that all? I checked websites of UN agencies and found a range of 31 to 54 fatalities. In 2005, the UN Chernobyl Forum predicted from 2,000 to 9,000 future cancer deaths from Chernobyl radiation. Responding to the forum, Greenpeace gave much higher numbers. 200,000 people had already died, and there would be 93,000 fatal cancers in the future. A decade later, the controversy surrounding Chernobyl consequences has not been resolved. We learn that birds in the Chernobyl zone are dying from mutations, but then journalists inform us that wolves and caribou are repopulating the zone. The public is left at a scientific stalemate. The mainstream media tend to report the most conservative numbers, 31 to 54 people dead. The assertion is that the final death toll will never be known. Why don't we know more? For decades, scientists around the world called for a large-scale, long-term epidemiological study of Chernobyl's consequences. That study never came together. Why? Was there intention behind the confusion over Chernobyl damage? Within the Grand Canyon-sized gap between the UN and Greenpeace estimates of fatalities, there exists a great deal of uncertainty. My aim in this book is to come to a more certain number describing the damage the accident caused, and a clearer grasp of the medical and environmental effects of the disaster. Without a better understanding of Chernobyl's consequences, humans get stuck in an eternal video loop, the same scene playing over and over. After the Fukushima accident in 2011, scientists told the public they had no certain knowledge of the effects of low-dose exposures of radiation to human beings. They asked citizens for patience for 10 to 20 years while they studied this new catastrophe, as if it were the first. They cautioned the public against undue anxiety. They speculated and stonewalled as if they did not recognize they were reproducing the playbook of Soviet officials 25 years before them. And that leads to the pivotal question. Why, after Chernobyl, do societies carry on much as they did before Chernobyl? I have other questions. What is life like when ecosystems and organisms, among them humans, mingle with technological waste and become inseparable? What does it take to get on with the art of living after the kind of thorough social, environmental, military sacking that the communities around the Chernobyl zone of alienation experienced in the 20th century? Chernobyl, I learned, was not the first disaster to strike the territory. Before the Chernobyl region became synonymous with nuclear disaster, it was a front line in 2 world wars, 1 conventional war, a civil war, the Holocaust, plus 2 famines and 3 political purges, after which it became home to a Cold War bombing range. That makes the greater Chernobyl zones, where people continue to live, good places to investigate the outer limits of human endurance in the age of the Anthropocene, the epoch when humans became the force driving planetary change. These are the questions that inspired my journeys around and into the Chernobyl zone. I started my search for answers in the central archives of former Soviet republics and found reports of widespread health problems caused by exposure to Chernobyl fallout. Wanting to be sure, I went to provincial archives and tracked health statistics down to the county level. Everywhere I went, I found evidence that Chernobyl radiation caused a public health disaster in the contaminated lands. Even the KGB reported this story. Soviet leaders banned media...